Hi everyone, and welcome to this video tutorial. In this video, we are going to be doing Lab14 Task 3. That's checking to make sure that our hosts are going to support our vMotion operations. So basically, we're interested in are there networks that are compatible between the two to handle the VMs, and the other part is do we have shared storage so that both of the hosts are going to be able to see the data store that is containing our virtual machine. First thing is networks. So I'm going to select on hosts and clusters. I'll pick on ESXi 1, and I'll do both the networking and the storage on this guy, and then we're going to go back and look at networking and storage on host 2. So to begin with, virtual switches. So there's a couple different things I'm interested in here. One, do I have a common port group for the VM? So if you remember way back a while ago, we created this thing called vSwitch1, and we created a port group called production. So here we can see production, which is on vSwitch1. If I scroll down a little bit further here, you can see my VMs that are connected to that. I've got an uplink on VMNIC1. It's a gigabit full duplex. It's connected, so I'm good to go as far as having a way for the VMs to work with respect to networking on host 1, ESXi 1. While I'm here, I'm also going to check out vMotion. Now, we just did this one a minute ago, but I'm going to select on VM kernel adapters. I've got this guy here, which is vMotion. Okay. And if I go and start dialing through the configuration down at the bottom here, we'll see that this is vMotion enabled. It says that vMotion is part of vSwitch4. If I go back up to vSwitches, scroll down, select vSwitch4. Then under those circumstances, I can see that again, I've got gigabit full duplex on an uplink. Terrific. I'm ready to go with that. The other thing I'm going to want to do, you don't have to do this, but it's by far desirable to make sure that this is on the same layer 2 subnet. So we're going to want to make sure that our IP addresses jive out. We would do that externally, obviously, on our switch and make sure that, and routing to make sure that everything is configured there. Now, storage-wise, we know that the VMs right now are on VMFS01, so we need to make sure that those are visible from both of our hosts. So if I select on storage, I can look at, wrong storage, go back to home, I'm going to select on storage, and then within VCSA and training, I've got VMFS1. It's the data store I'm interested in. Manage, don't really care about files. I'm going to go into settings at this point in time, and I'm going to look at connectivity and multipathing. And what we can see in there is that VMFS01 as the data store is connected to both ESXi 1 and ESXi 2. Now, it's important to make sure that these are set. I know we've got a fairly limited environment. We've only got 2 hosts. We've been setting these hosts up identically as we work our way along, so this shouldn't be any problem whatsoever. But in the real world, when you have a larger environment, you might have a dozen hosts or more. It's fairly easy sometimes to create a data store and you accidentally don't connect it onto all of the hosts, especially if you're using NFS. Right? With VMFS, this isn't a big deal because VMFS automatically connects to all the hosts. Unless there's a problem, we have to go back and fix that. But with VMFS, it automatically connects to only the hosts that we select. So if you only pick the one host that you are actually working on at the time, you have to go back after the fact and connect it to those other hosts. Anyway, we don't have a problem with that. Let me go back over and select ESXi 2. We'll make sure our networking's okay. We know obviously that the storage is because we just looked at that. So I'll pick ESXi 2. Once that comes up, what just froze here? There we go. Once that comes up, then we'll go and pick on networking. And like we did before, we're going to look at vSwitches. We know that vSwitch1 was production on the other network. It should be the same here. Sure enough, here's production connected to an uplink VMNIC1, which is connected at a gigabit and full duplex, so we have communications to the outside world. Perfect. If I look at the kernel adapters, again, I've got vMotion, which is on vSwitch4. This has got IP address. It's on the same subnet as what we saw with ESXi 1. Since I know this is on vSwitch 4, again, I'll make a quick selection here. On the vSwitches, scroll down to vSwitch 4. I can see that it has our kernel port. And then again, this has an uplink, gigabit full duplex. This is connected. We should be absolutely good to go. So for this task, basically, we're looking at now that our hosts are ready, and we can absolutely put some sort of vMotion operations into place in order to migrate from one host to another. That's a wrap for this video. Hopefully this was helpful for you, and we'll see you next time.